Howdy, how are you all? Today we're going to be talking about a series that has a manga and is also airing in the current anime season. We're going to be comparing the anime of Windbreaker with the original manga. And for this vlog, I read 6 volumes of the Windbreaker manga, which is about 50 chapters, but there are a lot of chapters to the manga. It is quite long and it is not yet finished. So if you're interested in what happens in Windbreaker later on, you definitely have to power through the original source material. That being said, the anime is being produced by Cloverworks right now, which is the animation studio that brought us Wonder Egg Priority, Spy Family, and a lot of other popular shows such as Horimiya and also Sonobisto. I'm sure you guys are wondering at what point the anime is going to stop at, but if you do check out the manga, you'll see there are certain arcs and you can get a general sense of where the anime is headed, because as of right now, there are about 8 to 9 episodes that are released up to this week and at this time of the vlog. So generally today I wanted to quickly review the story and characters, talk about the comparisons between the anime and manga, as well as advantages and disadvantages of different mediums. So without further ado, let's get started. Windbreaker follows a typical shonen protagonist boy named Haruka Sakura who joins Furin High School. Furin High School is very interesting, and Furin in itself as a community is very interesting because the students who form gangs in the high school are also responsible for protecting the inhabitants of the community. Before the gangs stepped in, there was a lot of small crimes and disturbances that happened in the neighborhood. So the kids from Furin are basically guardians of the neighborhood, and a lot of people who live in the community actually really love them. So it's kind of interesting because if you lived in a neighborhood where there were delinquents, students, or gangs, I don't know if you would feel really comfortable, but they seem to be kind of like safety patrollers in a way. Each character has their own backstory, their own motivations for joining a fighting club, and also their motivations for following the leader of Furin, as well as reasons to why they look up to that leader. Since Sakura just moved into the school, there are a lot of things that he doesn't know, so as he learns more things about the community and about the school gangs, we as an audience also learn these things at the same time. Sakura is pretty hot-headed and he just wants to be the strongest because he was bullied as a child. His motivations right now are pretty linear, but his struggle to be more emotionally vulnerable and accept people's help and accept the closeness of friends and mentors and other students, that is something that attracts people to continuously watch him. I also feel like if you generally like anime where there is found family and a group of boy characters who are attractive in all their own ways, I think you would enjoy this very much. The camaraderie between the students reminds me a bit of Haikyuu when we saw an all-boys cast. And also the show's been compared to a lot of Tokyo Revengers, but without the dying and time travel aspect. I definitely think that Windbreaker's protagonist is a lot more enjoyable to watch than the protagonist from Tokyo Revengers. The story for Windbreaker starts out pretty straightforward, but as we proceed throughout the different arcs, there are key figures that are higher in the hierarchy of the gang world that have underlying motivations and try to manipulate people in a certain way. So come for the camaraderie and all boys cast and stay for the twists that are going to come in a later season. In terms of anime versus manga, I feel like the anime made it really easy for me to pick up and remember all of the characters because they are colored. And there's a bit more stylized traits that you can remember from each character's visual. Versus for the manga, everything is black and white and there are just so many characters and so many boys that come in and out at the beginning that it's a little bit hard to keep track of it. So I feel like watching the anime first and going into the manga after made it a lot easier for me to figure out which characters are going to be memorable that I have to remember throughout the entire series versus which characters just come in and out based on the conflict or the situation that the plot is currently addressing. The manga in general does a really great way of conveying the action, especially in the fighting scenes, but the anime makes everything really fluid. So you can see the fighting styles of each character differ, as well as the sort of emotions that are intertwined in the character's mind when they're going through those like fighting sequences. Through fighting, we can understand more emotions. That's kind of what Windbreaker is trying to get at. I do feel like the anime pacing was a little bit lagging because through every single fight, there were so many flashbacks for us to understand the character. Versus in manga, you can just like scroll. You don't have to read everything, but it's like easier to set your own pace when it comes to any of like the childhood flashbacks. Also, there's just like so much dialogue in every panel for the manga because like there are so many boys and every boy is like speaking and some of them are interrupting each other. So there's like a lot of stuff to read in the manga, and I liked the conversation aspect a lot more in the anime. Listening to conversation when people like interrupt each other is way easier than reading the conversation where the bubbles are just like everywhere and different people are like interrupting with like different comments. So that in itself was a little bit confusing when I was reading the manga. I also think the emotional scenes are way more impactful in the anime because there is music, there's like different color grading or filters they can put in, there's like dramatic shots and dramatic moments with the timing and everything. Versus in the manga, I always feel like for shonen manga, I just don't get those same emotional beats. The likability of the show really boils down to the voice actors. There's a really stellar cast of voice actors, very popular names that we've seen in a lot of other popular shows. They themselves have a lot of like chemistry when they're acting together, and that part is also a very strong charm of the show. For example, my favorite character in the show right now is Umemiya, who is the leader of the Furin Boys. He's voiced by Nakamura Yuichi, who is like a huge veteran star in the voice acting world. He has like basically two main registers. One is very like high and soft, and the other is very like deep and can be very dominant and impactful. His duality was able to bring out Umemiya's like true personality and all of like the different facets of his character. So I just love seeing Nakamura Yuichi in like everything that he does, and I'm very excited to see more of the upper leaders in Furin. Overall, it is a series that has a lot of like typical shonen vibes and tropes, but it was very enjoyable because the boys are enjoyable, it's very character driven, and I guess if you fall in love with one of the guy characters, you're more likely to stay to see how they interact with other boys, learn more about their backstory, and sort of see the ups and downs of that character as he grows throughout the series. Anyways, thank you guys for making it to the end of my vlog. I don't do a lot of anime versus manga series very often, but recently I've been experimenting with other vlog ideas. So if you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more from me, and I will talk to you guys in my next video very soon. Bye!